Hey, what's up guys? It's DH here, and we're here at the S3 Power Sports Shop, where we're gonna take a close look at the install of our high clearance box lower A-arms for the Polaris RZR Pro R and Turbo R. Let's get started. Here are the tools needed. Floor jack stands, press, strongly recommended if pressing in and out ball joints, ratchet, 1/2 inch, or impact, sockets, 18mm, 19mm, 21mm, 1 3/16, 6-inch extension, T40 Torx bit, wrenches, 18mm, 21mm, bunt punch, snap ring pliers, brass hammer, flat blade screwdriver, dead blow hammer. A few install notes. In an effort to keep track of hardware, we recommend replacing it where you remove it. Disassemble and assemble one side at a time so a fully assembled side can always be referenced for bolt placement, orientation, etc. Place Pro R on a flat level ground and place it at park. Elevate the machine until the front tires are off the ground and support with suitable jack stands. Remove both front tires using a 19mm socket for stock lug nuts. Remove front bumper, bulkhead, and plastics. Remove axle nut using 1 3/16 socket. Remove the top sway bar bolt using an 18mm socket and wrench. Next, remove lower shock bolt using a 21mm socket and wrench. After that, remove lower ball joint bolt using an 18mm. The lower ball joint has a tapered press fit into the knuckle, so slight taps with a brass hammer will free it. Next, remove both inner arm bolts using a 21mm socket and wrench. Now you can remove the lower control arms. Pull the arm outward to clear the frame tabs first. After that, lower the arm down until you're able to pull up on the ball joint to remove it. If you're reusing your OEM ball joints and bushings, press them out now. First, remove the snap ring and rubber boot from the ball joint. Then press the ball joint out using a press and proper tooling. Next, remove all the bushing components. To remove the plastic wearable part of the bushing, use a blunt punch or anything that does not have sharp corners or edges. An extension and a 21mm socket will do the trick. Locate the driver and passenger sides and grab the appropriate side. If applicable, push the ball joint in using a press, reinstall snap ring and boot. To reinstall the boot, use an 1 1/8" socket and a dead blow hammer to seat it. Make sure the snap ring is seated fully. Press the bushings in and the rest of the bushing hardware. Next, press in your pivot tubes and install the brass caps with O-rings. You may use a dead blow to tap these in. Remove sway bar link from stock arm and install it onto the S3 arm before you install the S3 arm. We recommend using Loctite. Go ahead and tighten this bolt to factory spec. Insert ball joint into hub and hand thread the nut on. Do not tighten. Insert the bushing side of the A-arm into the frame, being careful not to damage your powder coat. Insert your inner bushing bolts, hand thread the nuts on, but do not tighten. Next, to install the shock, disconnect your upper shock mount and pull the shock free. Before installing lower shock bolt, make sure to install the provided misalignment spacers. Install the lower bolt into the S3 arm. From here, don't slip the bolt in all the way to make sure you can still get your nut on it. Reinstall your upper shock bolt. Next, install top sway bar bolt. Once that's complete, you can apply Loctite and tighten all bolts to factory spec. This includes your axle nut, your lower ball joint nut, your inner arm bolts, your upper and lower shock bolts, and your upper sway bar bolts. Next, reinstall the front bumper and plastics in the same order that you removed them. Lastly, reinstall tires, test drive, and recheck all your hardware. All right guys, that wraps up the install of our high clearance box lower A-arms for the Polaris RZR Pro R and Turbo R. If y'all have any questions, let us know. Thanks for tuning in.